what was Freddie Mercury like in bed? And I was like, I don't know. There were 7 other people there. Simple. I remember on my 27th birthday, I remember saying to my mum, I don't want to live beyond 27. And my mum was like, why? And I was just like, I just thought 27 was like kind of the end of the road type thing. And my mum was like, don't be so stupid. 27 is one of the best years of your life. Diazepam, Rohypnol, they were kind of like the pegging parts of the cocaine. So I would take cocaine, I would take downers to suppress the cocaine. I would drink alcohol to level the cocaine. And then I would take more. And then, of course, I discovered freebasing and crack. And then I discovered crystal meth. When I finally went to it, I would sleep in the recovery position because I was that scared that I was going to choke on my own vomit every night. Music is the best and biggest drug I've ever taken. It has the ability to transport you to anywhere in the world and to be with people that are no longer with us.
DJ Fat Tony in the building. How are you, man?
I'm okay. I'm good. I've been, I'm actually all right today. I've been ill the last few weeks, but I'm okay. I'm good now.
You had the Rona?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I kind of was like, I went for a whole week of thinking, oh, this is all right. I can do this. It was kind of a mild flu, bad chest. But I was wise enough to ask my doctor decided he wanted to put me on steroids for my chest because I have a bad chest anyway. So thankfully I took the steroids. Then it went away on the Thursday, and I thought, I feel really good. Friday night, boom, temperature 40 in the 40s for 4 days and 4 nights. The worst fever. It went into my chest. I was breathless. It was awful. Yeah, it was really awful.
That's harsh. Feeling good now?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just taking it easy. Do you get what I mean? I'm in no rush to go anywhere, so it's not a problem. But yeah. Thank God I had it mild. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. So my first question is why are you called Fat Tony when you're not fat?
That old question. When I was a kid, I was a fat kid. I got fat about the age of 14 to 16. It was a coping mechanism for what I was going through. So I kind of, put on loads of weight as if, it's a barrier between other people and me, because I kind of went through a lot of it. There was sexual abuse at an earlier age. So I kind of just got fat as a protection. So, it was one of those names that people called kind of whispered behind your back. So I just kept it. I lost my weight at 16 and that was it.
It's interesting that 2 years of being fat, ages ago, has branded you for the rest of your life.
It's one of those things people go, oh, you should change your name. And it's like, why would I change my name? It's taken me around the world 7 times. Do you know what I mean? I made a career out of that name. I'm not going to change it. I think there was a year and a half in the 80s where I changed it to Fat, PHT.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I went all hip hop for a week. But no.
Yeah. So I first heard of you, as some of the people listening may have done, through this recent Mixmag documentary, which has come out, which is absolutely phenomenal. And I know, have
you been living under a stone in Newcastle?
Look,
with no Wi-Fi.
There is. we are currently in the 1800s, and we're hoping to get the wheel and fire and operating running water soon. Right. But I mean, in my defense, they referred to you. This is Mixmag referred to you as the most famous DJ you've never heard of.
Yeah, the reason that name came about was because Seb, who works for Mixmag, he'd never heard of me, and he was from Cornwall. So, and I actually said to him at the time, the reason you've not heard of me is because you're from Cornwall. You live under a stone in like a wooden shack. You know what I mean? You probably haven't even got a smartphone. But yeah, so that's why we called it that, because I really like that. I like the fact that people hadn't heard of me. But in my world, everybody's heard of me.
Well, I don't. It doesn't surprise me at all. But I think, to touch on the way that industries work, especially nightlife, right? People, especially from outside of the country, might look at the UK and just be like, "Oh my God, it's just a speck. It's a state in America, right?" But especially with partying, because party culture is so big in the UK, you can go from here to Middlesbrough, where I'm originally from, 45 miles away. And the industry's different, the music policies are different, the type of events are different, the promoters, there's no crossover. So the little microcosms, they don't surprise me.
Yeah, so I mean, come on, I don't expect anybody to know who I am, because, the industry, but the thing about it was because, my career shifted in so many different areas throughout my career. And right now, the last few years, I've been working within fashion and all of that stuff. So, I kind of, the clubs, I got to this level where the clubs, I would still do clubs. They don't pay the money that I could get that I can command for doing, working for Victoria Beckham or Versace or any of those brands I work with. So, the whole idea of calling it the most famous DJ you've never heard of was because it was about tapping back into that other market that I hadn't been a part of for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like everyone that's listening will know the local DJ that has a couple of residencies a week, or maybe 3-4 residencies a week at good events, and it looks great, but it's a fucking grind. Like all my buddies that are resident DJs working 3 or 4 nights a week, finishing 4 in the morning, grinding it out. It's hard work.
Yeah, but, I've done that for a lifetime. Do you get what I mean? And now I've got to this level of contentment within my career that I've learned that there's a really beautiful thing about saying no. And it's a really powerful thing to say no without explanation. I don't need to explain why I'm saying no anymore. And I turn down so many different types of gigs because they're not where I want to be right now. I don't need to be getting up at 5 in the morning to go to work. Do you get what I mean? Don't get me wrong. That's really not me being obnoxious or taking it for granted for what I got. But you know what? I kind of, I'd rather do bigger than smaller on some levels. Don't get me wrong. I do so many different types of parties and events. And if they appeal to me, I'll do them. It doesn't matter how much money it is or whatever. But, just got to that stage where I don't really do residencies anymore because I find that when you become a resident, you become a piece of furniture and you get treated like furniture. The special, the whole feeling of being special and different is gone because you're suddenly there every week. So people take you for granted. There's no amazement about it. Do you get what I mean?
I couldn't agree more.
You just go there and people go, "Oh, he's there again." Yeah, I heard him last week.
Well, it's like the bar staff. You're just one of the bar staff, one of the glass collectors.
Yeah, totally. And for me, I don't want to be that anymore.
I can totally get that. There's a cool quote that I heard the other day about saying no, and it was that by saying no, you're only saying no to one thing. By saying yes, you are saying no to everything else.
Because you know what I learned, Chris, is like that. I will say yes to something that I don't want to do, and then I will get so much anxiety around that. That one thing will keep me awake for 3 or 4 nights. I will fret and I will work myself up to this place, right? And then what I'll do is the day before I'll pull a sickie, or on the day. Do you know what I mean? And I just think,
then you feel guilty. After you felt anxious, now you feel guilty.
You feel like you've let yourself down, you're letting other people down. So there's something really simple, as an addict, I people please quite a lot throughout my life. And I don't need to do that today. Today I need to please one person, that's myself. And if I'm happy, everybody else is happy.
Man, that's so much more holistic. But
and with the film, with that Mixmag film, I really thought no one was ever going to watch it. It started off as an interview for Mixmag. And in the interview, I said, it's only taken you 35 years to catch up. And, because everyone they've had on the majority of people they've had on their covers in that 35 years are probably stacking shelves right now. Do you get what I mean? And whereas I've continued through and then the boys at Mixmag, the interview came out, it got a really big, really great reception. And then they said, we really want to do an online thing with you the next day. I was like, yeah, fine, let's do it. So we went off and did it. And then 2 days later, they came back and they were like, "Oh, you know what? We want to do something bigger." And I was like, "Fine." I really liked the guys, Seb and Louis. They were great. They were really good fun to work with. I kind of just like their cheekiness. Because each day they'd do an interview with me, and then they'd throw these questions in at the end. Like on one day, Seb we'd finished filming, and then Seb was like, "Oh, just one last question." And I was like, "What?" And he'd be like, "What was Freddie Mercury like in bed?" And I was like, I don't know. There were 7 other people there. Simple little banter like that. Hi guys, if you want to know more about recovery, fashion, music, me, the world of Fat Tony, subscribe down below.